Many thanks for joining us at this time. This is News Analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television. The top stories. Dangote Refinery brainstorm on petrol pricing as it plans to roll out PMS by September. Policemen and Shiites killed as Abuja procession turns bloody. State oppose federal government 600 billion naira vote for 70,000 naira minimum wage. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. Starting with oil matters, Dangote Refinery to be precise. There are indications that the federal government committee, which was set up to ensure the implementation of crude oil sales to local refineries in Naira, will further discuss the pricing of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to be released by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery next month. Multiple officials, both among oil marketers and members of the Implementation Committee on Crude Oil Sales in Naira, under the leadership of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, confirmed that the panel would be holding a series of meetings this week and in coming weeks on the developments. They also stated that the committee will be concluding a framework that would put a benchmark on the amount which the Dangote refinery would pay for crude in Naira, adding that the federal government would have to decide whether to pay subsidies for petrol from the plant or to allow Nigerians buy the products at the market price. However, oil marketers declared that the cost of Dangote petrol would be higher than the current pump prices of the commodity, stressing that it would be tough for dealers to buy the commodity from the plant if the federal government fails to intervene in the price. Now, the Islamic movement in Nigeria, popularly known as the Shiites, has alleged that the police attacked the peaceful Arba'in symbolic church in Wuse, Abuja, killing and injuring many of the mourners. This was as the police, in a quick reaction, also accused the IMN of carrying out an unprovoked attack on its personnel, killing 2 policemen and critically injuring 3 others who are currently in the hospital battling for life. The Shiites on Sunday held the Arba'in walk, the ceremonial trek that marks the end of a 40-day mourning period of the death of the grandson of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Imam Hussein. The movement, in a statement signed by Sheikh Sidi Sokoto for the Islamic movement and the Shiite leader Ibrahim el-Zakzaki, said the walk, which was previously held in Masaka and Zuba Aziz on Saturday, was peaceful and successful. They added that the medical practitioners were currently attending to the injured protesters, adding that details of those killed, injured, and arrested would be made available subsequently. And now the representatives of state government at the last Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting have bemoaned the decision by the federal government to save additional revenue for the payment of the new minimum wage. These developments which affected their revenue distribution from the Federation Committee was received with the opposing views when an update on statutory allocation showed that the government transferred a sum of 200 billion naira into the non-savings accounts at the August FAC meeting, making a total of 595 billion naira. The Commissioners of Finance, Akwa Ibom, Delta, and Ekiti raised observation at the last meeting held August 16, 2024. At the meeting, it was learned that the committee distributed a total sum of 1.36 trillion naira to the 3 tiers of government, 1 billion naira less than 1.35 trillion naira shared in June. This is despite recording an increase of 13 billion naira between the gross total of 2.61 trillion naira in July and 2.48 trillion naira in June. In his opening address, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, applauded President Bola Tinubu for signing the National Minimum Wage Act into law, adding that its implementation will be of immense benefit to all Nigerians. This is news analysis coming to you on Politics and Business Television. Still to come, PDP crisis, stakeholders tackle Melayi over attacks on leadership. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. And now on Politics Today, stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, under the aegis of PDP frontliners, have berated the party's former Kogi State governorship candidate, Gino Melayi, for allegedly bringing the party into disrepute with unjustifiable verbal attacks on its leadership. They described Melayi's assertions that the party under Ambassador Umar Damagum's leadership has become commercialized and privatized as discourteous. This was contained in a statement signed by Alhaji Hussein Mohammed, Mr. Moses Abideyemi, and Mr. Okan Okafor in Abuja yesterday. In response to Melayi's tirade, the PDP frontliners alleged that vultures of different hues within and outside the party are now circling around, hoping to see the deaths of the sick PDP and make quick gains. They vow to resist as loyal party members. The party stakeholders expressed optimism that with appropriate steps being taken, the PDP will rise above its crisis and re-emerge as a party of choice not only in Kogi State but also across Nigeria. And now the legal team representing the family of the late Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad, has expressed concern about what it's described as sensitive information on the death of the deceased being released to the public. One of the heads of the team, Taiwo Odumoshu, in a statement on Sunday, said such information should be made available to the police instead of the public. He also appealed to the public to come forward with any information that could aid in the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the singer's death. Odumoshu also noted that the coroner's inquest had issued witness summons, adding that the family was seeking assistance in gathering facts to determine what led to Mohbad's untimely demise. The coroner's court is the best forum to disclose any information that could assist in the fact-finding mission of the courts. Still, this is news analysis coming to you on Politics and Business Television. Flooding is one of the most devastating natural disasters with significant economic impacts that can reverberate through local, regional, and national economies. Join us shortly as we discuss flooding and its economic implications. Stay tuned. On Friday alerted Nigerians on the rising water levels of River Niger. The Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Umar Mohammed, issued the alert in a statement in Abuja. He noted that floodwaters from Niger, Mali, and other countries near the rivers are gradually moving towards Nigeria, starting with Kebbi State. Mohammed added that the development was due to upstream activities in Niger and Mali. The River Niger passes through 9 states in Nigeria. The states are Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, Imo, Ondo, and Rivers. The statement read, NIHS has assured that dam operators at Kainji and Jeba, situated on the River Niger, have been informed and are on standby as of August 22nd. The agency confirmed that these dams are not currently spilling water from their reservoirs. The NISA DG said the risk of flooding is expected to peak by the end of August and urged states and communities along the River Niger system to remain vigilant. He said the agency would continue to monitor the situation closely and provide regular updates to the public. The World Economic Forum, in a recent report, said Nigeria witnessed the most devastating episode of seasonal floods in 2012, with over 600 people killed and 1.3 million displaced from their homes. It added that more than 200,000 houses and 266,000 acres of farmlands were completely or partially damaged. Joining us to discuss this topic is Malam Yushua Aliyu, our in-house economist. Good afternoon to you, Malam Yushua Aliyu.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nigeria.
Many thanks for always having you on the program.
Thank you, Amina.
So let me start with the economic implication of flooding in Nigeria. What do you think are the economic implications of flooding in Nigeria?
One of the most fundamental implications or matter arising as a result of flooding is environmental degradation. Once flooding is experienced, the first victim is the environment, because the water level destroy farmlands, destroy roads, destroy facilities, destroy communities. So once you experience this kind of episode, it's showing that it has already touched all aspects of human life, and that is why you find a situation where food in the farmlands are cleared, food on transit are also blocked, food in the market also destroyed, food in farm stores destroyed, and thereby bringing insufficiency and changing the price in the market. And that is why for a very long time Nigeria has been experiencing a deficit in terms of food production and in terms of food supply in our markets.
So what are the major causes of flooding, considering the fact that rain, is it just the rain? Rain comes in, year out. Every year it can rain maybe like 2 or 3 seasons for like how many months in a year? Why is it a recurrent problem? Why is it coming?
You have highlighted River Niger, River Benue are the main rivers that divide Nigeria and also distribute waters from the Atlantic Ocean to the hinterland. But if you are asking the main cause of this high flooding rate that we are experiencing worldwide is climate change. Once we continue to destroy our forests, once we continue to expand our farmland, once we continue to build new communities, thereby destroying the natural environment, once we don't create waste, once we don't also create dams that are well structured, we will continue to have flooding, and this flooding can cause catastrophic implications to the economy. And not only climate change, apart from climate change, there is also environmental policies. Environmental policies which are not geared towards improving our vegetation, improving the soil fertility, improving the road network for distribution of and movement of goods and services. You continue to have flooding, and it will be coming in an uncontrolled manner, because anytime there is increase in volume of water, the hydrogen and oxygen component of it will always try to move around, and it is moving because it is naturally designed that there must be water on the planet Earth, and there must be reservation strategies that nature creates, which also has been distorted and must be redesigned by human beings.
Okay, so almost all the northern states could still be affected by this flood, considering the fact that we are still in August, and even the beginning days of September, it might still rain. So almost all the northern states are affected by this flooding, and the northern states are the states that provide Nigeria with food. How is the country, is Nigeria ready to manage the situation?
But it has been a long time before, when Nigeria even thinks of embarking on a frustration program, the planting of relative trees for the control of environmental disaster. So I think the northern states are victim because we are not adding any value to the vegetation, and we are also contributing greatly in creating new communities. Check around FCT Abuja, for instance. It was a thick forest before now, but when you check all angles of Abuja, you realize that it is houses that are springing up, and springing up of these houses is not commensurate with the amount of resources that we put to develop the vegetation around. And these are things that have high implication in northern Nigeria, especially when you see deforestation, you see how vegetation is being cleared, and you see how desertification is also encouraging many communities in northern Nigeria. And that is why today, if with the creation of a lot of dams for irrigation purposes which are not properly maintained, which are not properly structured, these are all components that brought about bringing large volume of water without adequate use of the water and without adequate facilities to take the unforeseen challenges.
So already states like Lagos, Katsina, Sokoto are already experiencing this flooding. Would you say this will still affect the state's economy, considering how we are struggling? What is it that we should expect? Food are still going to be more expensive.
Once flooding is recorded, the first thing is the displacement of communities. And once farmers are displaced, their properties is also destroyed. Their houses are being destroyed. Their farmlands are also destroyed. So if you cannot imagine the volume of economic disorder that flooding is creating. So in northern Nigeria today, you find a situation where even market days cannot hold because of too much volume of water. And once you have too much volume of water, market cannot hold. A lot of goods will perish. A lot of things that are supposed to be transported cannot be transported. And that will also create a vicious cycle of poverty among several economies in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, because flooding destroy your house, destroy your farm, destroy your animals, destroy your vegetation, destroy your environment, destroy your market. imagine the volume of destruction and the economic multiplier as far as income and creativity is concerned. So people cannot in their own control flooding. It is the responsibility of the state, especially erosion control mechanisms that can control the flows of water, the channels of escaping waters from the communities. All this thing has to be done in an attempt to reduce the high implication of economic disaster that flooding is creating in our economies today.
Okay, so what do you think are the possible solutions that could curtail the economic, the flooding, and to a large extent the economic breakdown?
There must be efficient and excellent environmental policies. Environmental policies to design how a new farmland will be added, how new communities will be created, how efficient dam structures will be dominated. These are some of the policies that will now pave way for discharging the excess volume of waters that is coming into Nigeria, along with the excess volume of waters that is increasing in torrential form. Because the two issues are involved as far as flooding is concerned. One is the amount of water that is the downpour that is being recorded, and also the type of waters itself. The second is a volume of released waters from other economies, which must be done. Like you rightly pointed out in your report, Niger, Mali, and others, if they discharge the excess volume of water, the only four channels it follows back to our Nigerian state from Kebbi State, and it goes downward to as tributary to many rivers, and which is also creating a lot of distortions in our living standard as well as our economic environment. So there is need to have efficient policies. That is one. There is also need to have full education for people to understand the implication of flooding, and also what the do's and don'ts that is required to have efficiency as far as control measures are concerned. Lastly, I will also implore the input of local government. Now that they are autonomous, there is need for them to set aside large resources to create waterways and to create efficient water channels through which waters can be evacuated from our communities back to rivers as tributaries.
Okay. Thank you very much, Malam Yushra Aliyu. That was a wonderful session. Many thanks for always joining us on the program.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you.
And that has been Malam Yushra Aliyu, our in-house economist. That will be the size of our program for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Idris Amina. Bye for now.